10 seconds to go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Customer service representatives and customer service is the most important thing in our culture. Being professional, doing things exactly as you are trained to do is important. When you don't follow those guidelines, when you don't follow proper protocols, when you do not know your product knowledge, that's when things just go down and it doesn't make the communication process lax. Today's episode is called Angel versus Verizon. Have faith, let it begin. New season, fall edition, starts right now.
On June 16th, 2018, a show designed for you, the Daily Commuter, went live.
Well, folks, dreams do come true. This is Have Faith, Let It Begin, and this is our first episode.
A weekly show all about faith.
Every day, we're going to battle storms. We're going to face challenges. But we have to remember that we're not going to do it alone. We have to have faith.
A show with motivational topics.
As you go into work today, don't allow anyone to steal your joy. Lift your head up high and know that God is with you.
Inspirational stories and personal testimony set out to change the world.
My wife and I are expecting our first child. I'm going to be a father.
Welcome to Have Faith. Let it begin. Here's your host, Angel Santana.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the live edition of Have Faith, Let It Begin. My name is Angel. Today is Friday, October 9th, 2020. We're going to get right into it, but I did promise all of you the cell phone story. So before I get into Angel versus Verizon, here's what happened yesterday. So on the way to my mom's house to drop off a couple items, I realized that my tire pressure had been low. So I went over to the nearest tire store, and there was a tire, air compressor, and I started to put air in my tire. What I didn't realize was the machine was broken. And as I pushed in the air compressor, my tire was, instead of getting air, was releasing air. My tire pressure is supposed to be at 32. It went down to 21. During that process, as I'm trying to get this machine to work, my phone couldn't stop ringing. See, what happened was my mom had forgot that yesterday was a day that my wife was home with Ariel. So my mom was a little concerned because I was running behind. So eventually I had to let go of the compressor. I put my cell phone on my windshield. The windshield, let me be more specific. I put the cell phone on the windshield of the driver's side, but it was just hugging the windshield wiper. So I have Bluetooth, so I automatically hit the Bluetooth button, spoke with my mom on the phone, did speakerphone, finished what I had to do with the tires, and began to rush. As I was rushing, I got back into the car, drove to my mom's, delivered some packages, then got back into my car to get ready to do the live show. As I'm getting ready to I'm looking for the cell phone so I can hit record live, I don't have my cell phone. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I lost my cell phone. And as I'm getting ready to leave, I realized the cell phone had never left the windshield area. So I drove almost quarter of a mile to my mom's house, and that cell phone never fell off my car. It stayed above the actual windshield wiper on the windshield, and I never saw it. What is the point of that message? Very simple. There's no reason to rush. There's no reason to put yourself and others in jeopardy. It is important and is vital that all of us slow down. And that is a segue to Monday's episode. It's called No Need to Rush. So be ready for that on Monday. Folks, Angel versus Verizon. My parents are on my line. They're on their 70s, and I believe that my job as a son is to take care of my parents. Why? Because they took care of me. Well, I put them on my plan because, quite honestly, it was too expensive for them. So by putting them on my plan, I only charge them internet. I don't charge them for the phone or their line. And they pay me internet. So, save them over $125 a month. But that's not the story. The story is they needed an upgrade for phones. So we went online and we spoke with individuals from Verizon Wireless. We spoke with a couple agents, and they provided me with an offer for 2 Samsung A01 phones. I was excited because the phones were not $1,000. They were $150. They told me there was a sale. I was excited. I was a little skeptical because why would $1,000 or $700 phones be $150? They told me that with the pandemic, people were not buying as often, and they were trying to push these phones along. So I normally do research. I must be honest, I didn't do as much research as I should have. When the phones arrived and we transferred the old phones to the new Samsung A01s, I immediately discovered that the memory on the phones were already completely full. What I'm trying to say is the reason why the phones were so cheap were they only had 16 gigabytes on their phones. Now, just to give you an example, for people that may not know the terminology, for 16 gigabytes on a cell phone, that is equivalent to at least 15 to 20 apps. Many of us have many more. And then that's not including pictures, videos, and downloads. So I immediately got very, very nervous and went to the nearest Best Buy and bought 64 gigabyte memory cards to add to their phones. So I put that in there thinking that that would help. But again, with memory cards, they only store pictures, documents, downloads, and video, not applications. So the phone still was at capacity. When I called back to tell them that I was not happy with the way things were handled, they were very, very, very professional and very courteous to tell me that I could return the phones with no questions asked, so I upgraded to the next level. When they asked me to return the phones after I had to repurchase new phones, they told me to look inside the box to get the return envelope. I told them that the box was still in front of me and there was no return label inside. They told me not a problem. We would mail out a new return label inside the new phones that would arrive within 24 to 48 hours. Within 24 hours, the new phones arrived. Inside the box, there was no return label. As I started to transfer the new phones, the old new phones, we'll call it, to the new phones, I called Verizon to let them know I would still need a return label. They told me that they would mail out a new one. It would arrive within 24 to 48 hours. That never happened. When I finally got, after 24 to 48 hours, I called them back. The next agent told me that they would mail out a new one and that by their records, it should arrive within a day. That never happened. When I called again, I spoke with another agent. This agent told me, this is not a problem. We can email this to you. And I said, that's interesting, because the last person, when I asked if they could email me the return slip, they told me that they were not capable of doing so. So, to the agent's credit, she said, some of the agents are having difficulty with it. It's a new format that we're using. We've been having trouble. I apologize for any inconvenience. No problem. The young lady was very, very quick to help me, and she said that the email had been sent through and that I can just print it out and send the label. Now, to be fair, I want to be fair, I was driving at the time, so I had no chance to double check my email to see if it arrived, but I took her word. When I got home, the email never arrived. I checked my spam, I checked the spam folder, I also checked the promotions spot on your cell phone. Nothing had arrived. Now I called again, and the next agent told me that they would email me. I told them that I would wait over the phone. Unfortunately, for me, I had another call coming in. I had to take the call. Then the email never arrived. Finally, I got really fed up, and I decided to go online and do the online chat, because I was not about to talk to somebody over the phone, because quite honestly, my patience had run thin. So, when I spoke with a person on the online chat, she was very quick to tell me that she would be more than happy to email me the forms, to which I replied, I will please ask you to stay on until I make sure I get the email. When I got the email, which was about literally 2 minutes after she said she sent it, I was excited. I wanted to print out the email and the download of the return envelope just to make sure that it was printable and there was no errors with the print. So something inside of me said, you better double check. So I made sure with the agent, I says, just to be sure, this is to return the phones that I previously purchased so that I can receive my credit back, because I had repurchased new phones and they were going to refund me the full money for the original A01 phones. She said, "Oh no, I thought you were just returning your phones for credit. That's not the proper form." Here we go again. So, once again, she emailed me, and this time when the label came in, she emailed me the wrong label. She then emailed me the label for, once again, the new phones. So I said to her, "I'd like to speak to a manager. I'm sorry, this is way out of line. I've spoken now to 5-6 agents, and nobody seems to get this right." She promised me that this was the last time she was going to email me the product and that this would be the accurate way. Finally, the email came through, and it was the correct form. Deep down inside, I still wanted to double check, so I recalled Verizon and made sure that the code on the barcode of the return envelope matched the description of the A01 phones, to which they did. Lengthy story. Crazy story. Folks, customer service, I've said this 1,000 times, is nowhere near what it used to be. It's very frustrating. Many of us are frustrated with the way things have gotten out of control. So to all my fellow customer service representatives, because I am one too, we have to make sure we know our product. We have to make sure that before we get off the phone, our customers are correctly taken care of. We have to make sure we have patience, we have the product knowledge, we have the training, the tools to do our job effectively. To my fellow customers, because I'm a customer too, we also have to have patience. Many of these individuals are not trained properly. Many of these individuals are new at their field. Many of them are working from home and they don't have a manager or a supervisor nearby to assist them. Don't forget, we were all new once, weren't we? Don't forget, at one point or another, all of us had to be retrained or trained multiple times. So I leave you with this. It's Friday. Customer service will probably never be the same again. But we, as consumers, we as customers, can help facilitate and change that by making sure we get what we want without going off the deep end, without showing our frustrations and anger. Maybe give a little bit more patience, a little bit more kindness, and maybe, just maybe, customer service will return to where it should be. Because the last time I heard, the customer is always right. I hope all of you enjoyed today's episode. May God bless you. May you enjoy the rest of your weekday. And never forget, have faith. Let it begin. Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. That's right, Ariel. We're done with another show. And it's always great to have this show with you, my love. You know, we're going to encourage each and every person to listen to our show every single weekday. That's right, you and I are going to help change the world. Do you think that you can do that for me? Huh? Yeah, you know you can. She does. We want to let you know, and yes, we encourage you to listen to our show each and every weekday, and it's going to be live at 7:30. Make sure you're subscribed to our show. Make sure you get ready, fasten those seatbelts, because Ariel and I and my family are going to bring you a new topic, a new story each and every day, right? Isn't that right, Ariel? Yeah. And she's smiling at me. Guys, enjoy your day.